there, I'm Nicole, and this is Pilates for Hypermobility. Today, we're going to look at some beginner Pilates hypermobility exercises. You may have been told by your physical therapist or your doctor that Pilates is great for hypermobility, and I totally agree. If you are a beginner at Pilates, then these are the basic level exercises that you can try. The important thing to focus on today for these little exercises, which I hope you'll join me for, is your breath. So continuing to breathe through each of the exercises and not holding your breath, and also just flowing and removing the spine in all the different directions. The other important thing is that it's definitely more about quality over quantity. So you want to be aware of what's going on in your body and your alignment, coordinating that with your breath, and then making sure you just do a few with a good amount of focus. And if your mind wanders, you're just going to bring it on back to what you're doing. All right, come on down to your back. We'll start there, and I'll lead you through some beginner Pilates exercises. All right, so you want to find a place of comfort on your back. If you need extra padding for your tailbone, or you like to have a little pillow underneath your head, that is great. And having your feet flat, that's just going to allow your pelvis to rock more easily as opposed to the legs being out, because most people are pretty tight across the front of their hips. All right, we're just going to start with that little pelvic tilt and coordinating the breath. So you're going to bring your pelvis, your pubic bone, towards your belly button and tilt your pelvis back as you exhale. And then as you inhale, you're just going to let your back arch like you're letting a little river run underneath there. And then as you exhale, you're gently pressing your back down towards the floor like you're damming the river. And you want to coordinate with the breath. So inhale and exhale. Do that a few more times. And as you do that, just notice what muscles are turning on. What do you feel engaging? We want this to be mostly core and kind of deep hip work. So you're not going to be pushing into your feet to do this. You're not going to be squeezing your butt. You're just going to let the pelvis rock, shortening of those core muscles and then lengthening of the core muscles with that breath coordination. If you haven't done any breath and core coordination before, another video I have on my channel is core exercises for hypermobility. And we have that breath and core, super important breath and core connection exercise there. All right, so we've got a little spinal movement, tilting the pelvis back and forth. And then you're going to pause here. Bring your feet parallel. Now you're going to keep your pelvis still. As you exhale, bring one leg up to a tabletop position, hold, and take an inhale. And then as you exhale again, you're going to bring your other leg up as well without letting your pelvis rock. And then you're going to lower one leg down and then the other leg down. And we'll do the same thing starting with the other leg. Exhale and exhale. And down and down. So you can pause between each one and take your inhale, or you can do one long exhale and exhale. You want to feel the core working there. We'll do one more set, keeping it nice and short today. And then bring it down. All right, let's do an articulated bridge. So you're going to take your pillow out, keep your feet flat, and starting with that pelvic tilt we were doing, begin to tip your pubic bone towards your belly button. And now you're going to lift your booty off the floor. You're going to press into your heels and begin to lift your hips up one vertebra at a time. And you're going to come back down. And you want that upper back to come down first, and then the mid back, and then the lower back, and your tailbone and your booty are going to come super last. So you're really working through that lower back and again, the core muscles. And again, we'll go up. Notice if your knees want to fall out, you're going to stay nice and flat and heavy on your feet, throat open, and then roll back down. Good. Next time your pelvis is on the floor, you're going to bring your hands behind your head, elbows in your peripheral vision. Start by nodding your chin. Exhale. Keep your tailbone nice and heavy and curl up. You want your pelvis to stay completely still, so you're stabilizing through your core and curling up through your upper back. Let your head rest heavy in your hands as you lower down. Take an inhale, exhale. Inhale down. We're curling our upper back and maintaining stability in the core. If you want more challenge, you could do this with your legs up and coming down. One more, curl, looking at your thighs, and then come on back down and rest. Let your head rest down, bring your hands wide, bring your feet wider than your hips, and do a little knee sway, super gentle, twisting your spine. All right. We're going to flip over onto our bellies. Once you're on your belly, you can rest your head on a pillow so that your nose floats free, or it can be on a block. Your hands are going to be a little wider than your shoulders. We're going to do some upper back extension, tops of the feet pressing down. You're going to lift your head up first in line with the rest of your spine, and then you're going to reach your heart forward. So you're lifting up just to the base of your rib cage, and then you're going to reach your heart forward to come down. So it's not about lifting up straight. It's about lengthening your spine and then coming down. If this bothers your lower back, you can put a pillow or a blanket underneath your hips to round your back a little bit more so that you can focus on that upper back extension. And then coming on down. And you're super light on your hands. So you were working that upper back and neck. Keep the back of the neck long. Watch this one. What often happens is people come up and then they crank their neck. You're going to keep your gaze on the floor and the back of the neck long. And then go back to child's pose. Round the back out. And then come on up to a mermaid position, as we call it in Pilates. So that means one leg is across the front and one leg is across the side. If this doesn't feel good, you could reach that leg out to the side. So from here, we're going to do a couple side bends. So one hand will be on your shin, and you're going to side bend over. You can look down at your hand, and then look forward. And then you come either onto your hand, or you could come down a little bit lower. You're going to look at your hand on the floor, look forward, and then come all the way up. And relax. We'll swing the legs around to the other side. And then from here, hand's going to go on your shin again. Lift the arm up, soft shoulders. We'll side bend over, turn and look at your hand for some nice neck movement. And then we'll go to the other side, either on your palm, or you can come down to your forearm for a little deeper stretch. Look down at the forearm, look forward, keep looking forward as you come up and do a little counter stretch. All right, from here, sit cross-legged. We're going to finish off with a little twist. So your arms are going to go out to the side about 45 degrees. You're going to twist to one side, bring a hand to opposite knee and fingertips behind you, and then go the other direction. One more each side. And then come on forward, rock back, switch the cross of your legs. And then from here, have one hand on each knee, and we're going to curl back into a little cat. And then lift the heart and look. We're going to curl back like a little back of a cat. And then lift the heart. One more curl. Your hands are just helping you here. And extend. And then come on back to center. And we are done with the beginner Pilates hypermobility exercises. Remember to coordinate the exercises with your breath. And if you haven't done breath core coordination yet for really excellent core control and core activation, then you want to watch this video that is linked above, which is the core exercises for hypermobility on my channel. Let me know in the comments below how this worked out for you, and I will see you in the next video.